Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the Technical Trader. January the 19th, Thursday night, and these are the charts of the day. I'm not going to do any of the boxer shorts today. We'll cover that this weekend and on the Coffee and Charts with Harry on Saturday morning, only because until we actually get that turn, the market keeps pressing, massaging higher, and I don't want to preempt, get everyone excited and go short yet, although we may be getting close. There's so many stocks breaking out on the upside. We may be due for a pause and pullback, but I'm not convinced we're going to see anything major. On the contrary, we may even see a much bigger move than most people are anticipating, but we'll see. Starting off with EGHT, you can see in the chart here this beautiful rising channel. Now, over the last several months, it formed this big wedge that was broken with a thrust today. Note that today, EGHT popped through the 21 and 50-day moving averages, up through first and second resistance, and the declining top line before pulling back to close right there. Nevertheless, up 25% or 85 cents, 6.6 million. That's the biggest volume I've seen in a long time in the stock. At this point, it wouldn't shock me to see it test the highs up here around 4 3/4, maybe even get as high as 5 1/4 before we get a pullback retest. But on a long-term basis, looks like the stock could be headed up towards 8, but don't get too excited yet. NTCT, big day today for NetScout. This line here and the gap was closed, or the majority of it was, and nearly reached secondary resistance. Note that the breakaway gap, opening gap here, and then the run took it up to 87 or 17% on 1.2 million. It looks like this is a clean breakout, and I would expect to see higher levels, at least a test of this zone on a short-term basis, and then we'll see if it backs and fills or not. If it gets through there, secondary target looks like something up around 24. 23, 24 anyway. ASIA Asia had a big day today. You can see that the declining tops line here has been slightly breached with the breakout today across that line right here. Also, lateral price resistance here was broken. If you scroll in a little bit, you'll see this double bottom and the breakout through 2 lines of resistance today. I would look for a move up towards 12 short term. That could be an interesting swing trade. BVSN continues to really amaze. The Momo stock here of the month has already run from 10.5 to 24 just in the last 2 weeks, with only 1 day here and 1 day here interruption. But today, a stellar reversal from 2022 to 24.17. That's nearly $4, and it closed at the exact high of the day going away. Likely, we see this spike up and right up into the high 20s short term. Watch for a move tomorrow. You may want to play that very carefully with a tight stop. UEPS, speaking of strong momentum, with a big breakaway gap yesterday, broke through clean resistance and got up to secondary resistance here. We may see it pull back. It actually did pull back after reaching 1038, closing at 993. Nevertheless, up $1.01 or 11%, 682,000 traded. If we get a little consolidation in this zone here, maybe a setup for higher levels up towards 11 3/4, 12. Solar winds, which we had liked earlier in the year, particularly when it broke away here, ran all the way up into that 33.4 zone and then pulled back in a falling wedge. It broke out a week and a half ago, pulled back in a 4-day flag after backing off to 50. Today exploded through it. Note the move from 28.96 to 31.30, closing just a little bit off the high, 1.5 million up to 32 or 8%. I'm expecting a retest at a high around 33 coming up. Maybe get this as high as 37.5, 38 at the top of these 2 channels. IMOS had a big day today. It broke out of a beautiful head and shoulders pattern a couple days ago, and it's still running. Now it's overbought short term, and we may see it pull back in a zone, but it certainly is something to keep an eye on. Also note that the bottoms in this zone probably will create some resistance at which it is right now. So not looking to buy it here. I am looking for a setup, pullback retest perhaps. HOGS Hogs broke out of the head and shoulders pattern. That's a swing trade of ours. Note that the pullback from that pattern formed a little bit of a consolidation, and then it took off. Today up another 5.3%, 61 cents. And I'm looking for a move to 13 on the stock short term, at which point we'll complete our swing trade. Micron MU, also a swing trade. Left shoulder head, right shoulder breakout of the neckline occurred yesterday. We had a little follow through up 23 cents or 3% today. I'm still looking for it to get up near 8.5 short term. OSUR continuing its move today, followed through. Although it did back off the high, it still was up 31 cents or 3% today on 843,000 shares. But it's had a pretty big short-term pop and may consolidate here. Nevertheless, when you look at the long-term channel, it's calling for a move to 15. TWI, Titan, also a beautiful head and shoulders bottom formation, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline broken. The stock's moving, and I'm anticipating a move to 27.5 short term, another 3 points. Xerox broke out of a head and shoulders bottom today, but a spike in the last 2 sessions. I'd look for something up around 9.5, 3/4 on a short term test. Halozyme continues to look great ever since we recommended it here, and then it flagged, it popped, it flagged again, it's popped again. It has had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave move, which may be ending shortly, but look for 11, 11.5, maybe 11 3/4 before it's over. Owens Corning, yet another example of a nice head and shoulders here, here, and here. Broke out, pulled back a little flag, and the last couple of days it's popped. I'm looking for a move up towards 37.5 short term. IDIX, one of my 3 or 4 favorite junior biotechs now, with this breakaway gap, has run hard. Rising flag formation augurs well for more upside, looking for 17.5, 18. ARQL, another breakout of a biotech, pulled back and then move up again. Just barely made it through the high today and backed off, so not a good close. Up just 16 cents, and it pulled back about 40 cents off the high, but let's see how this develops in this zone here. There is resistance in that area, but eventually I look for this stock to make it up to the 10 range. EBIX, after coming out of this declining tops line and forming a head and shoulders bottom as well, this is the result of this head and shoulders break right here. Pop to the top, pull back to the bottom, mid-range, flag, and now it looks like this could be headed for 26 and then 27.5, 28. Celldex, another junior bio that completed a beautiful head and shoulders bottom, got up to that neckline flag, then exploded through it, got through secondary resistance and maybe flagging right in here now. There is some minor resistance between this 4 and 430 range, but if it should get up, and we could see this stock get as high as 5.5 short term, 5.5 anyway. MyTech had a little bit of a consolidation day, did pop. Notice that the stock, which ran through resistance and backed off to it, popped to 930, which was the high a couple days ago, and backed off as well. But still, it gained today, and I'm looking for it to hold this zone and then break out, get up to 1035, 11.25, and then 12.5, 3/4. My targets on MyTech. I like the pattern, rising technicals, and it's coming off the major bottom right in here and support. LNG has been moving nicely and slowly ahead. Note that the stock is not getting ahead of itself. It did make a breakout yesterday and followed through slightly today before backing off. Still, I'm looking for a test at the 12, 12.5 range, and eventually around 15. And lastly is RAM. I wanted to point out that RAM just reached right underneath my target of 420.25 by reaching 413 today. Almost completed our swing trade, but it did back off to 393 and ended with a slight loss. So minor reversal day. Let's see what kind of follow through we get. And if we do manage to back off here, the support on it would be somewhere in this zone right there, about 340. Hope it doesn't get down that far, but that would be support. That's it for tonight. Have a good weekend, everybody. Take care.